It's one of those red-letter days for the Anglican community, in particular, St. Agnes Anglican Church. That parish is observing a significant anniversary, and that's where we join again our Lloyd Allen. Good morning again, Lloyd.
Well, good morning again, LaDawn. This morning, I am switching scenes. I'm at the site of St. Agnes Church, where this year it's celebrating 175 years. That official ceremony is set to take place on July 12th. But early in the year, of course, those ceremonies and celebrations getting off to an early start. And this morning, I'm joined by Archdeacon Keith Cartwright, who's going to talk to us a little bit about what the build-up to that celebration is going to look like. Good morning, Father Cartwright.
Good morning to you. And good morning, Bahamas. Yes, today, the 21st of January, is the Feast of St. Agnes itself. In 2020, as you rightly said, we are celebrating 175 years of ministry here in Grantstown over the hill. And so we thought that we will start off the celebrations with St. Agnes Day itself, which is today. And of course, St. Agnes is our patron saint of this church. She was a young girl born in Rome in a very wealthy family, and she dedicated her life to Christ and to the Lord. And at a very young age, you know, those young maidens are sought after, particularly those who are from wealthy families. And she was, and of course, she said no to all of those who approached her. She said that she was already sorted by our Lord himself, and so she refused. Of course, that refusal led to her eventual being martyred. And so she died at age 12 for the Lord, and so she is the patron saint of young girls and young people. And of course, she was indeed sexually assaulted before she was martyred, and so she's the patron saint of those who have gone through rape. And so St. Agnes is really a celebration for young people. And so we give God thanks for 175 years that our church, who is named after St. Agnes, has been ministering in these over-the-hill parts of our community, particularly in Grantstown and Bainstown. The history of the church is a wonderful history, and one of the main hallmarks is our starting of education for the masses over the hill. Our second rector, Father Rogers, was our first rector or priest, but our second rector, Father Woodcock, started a school here in the over-the-hill area, and that grew from strength to strength. Of course, today the government has the school named after Father Woodcock, but in the end, we have a wonderful history in education. In the social outreach area, the church has always been a beacon of hope for those who are oppressed, those who are downtrodden. It still is today. And of course, we have a lot of ministries that we have going on, the men's ministry, the women's ministry, the youth ministry, and all manner of ministries go on here at St. Agnes. We are a wonderful church. We have over 1,500 members, and we hope to grow that number. And I'm just privileged to be here now. I came here in October. Of course, I grew up here, and I went from here to seminary, and now I'm back here as the rector here at this particular time. So I just want to say St. Agnes is the church over the hill, and we are proud of our church, and we are delighted to celebrate in grand style our patronal festival on Sunday at 3 o'clock, and we invite all of our St. Agnes persons who are scattered throughout the Bahamas, and particularly those in New Providence, to come back home and join us on Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock.
So a lot of information. I feel like you gave me a history lesson just now. I actually am a former student of Woodcock Primary. I actually did not know the history behind that. Thank you so much for that. But as you toured the inside with me just now, I saw a lot of photos. One of those photos, 1833, I think I saw.
1855.
1855, the church first established.
In 1845, but that was the picture 10 years after. It was established. And so we have several of photos that have been kept over the years, and you can have a look at those afterwards.
And so a very iconic church here in the over the hill area. Now, one of those things, I'm obviously not a member here at your church, but one of those things that I think most people have noticed a few years ago during Hurricane Matthew, a part of your bell tower was destroyed. Yes. What is the process of really restoring that?
What we have done is we have already restored the engineering part of it and the structural part of it. And now we are just awaiting the installation of the louvers, and that will be the final part of it. But we have already gone through the engineering part of it. We have already gone through the preparation for it and all the works necessary. So we're just awaiting, and they should be here by next week.
Another thing I wanted to talk to you about, oftentimes we see it with government, we see it with the royals, but also with the church. Many of those last names become very iconic. We have the Rogers, we have Fisher, I saw in there as well.
Father Fisher was priest here for 50 years, the longest serving rector in the entire diocese. For 50 years, Father John Fisher. And of course, the first Bahamian native son, of course, was Canon Lauren George Pyfram, and then the first black Bahamian was, of course, Canon Milton E. Cooper, and of course, coming out of St. Agnes is the first Archbishop of that was a Bahamian of the entire province of the West Indies. Archbishop Drexel Gomez was a member here from a little boy right on up, and he is in his retirement. Integral part of our wonderful St. Agnes group right now.
And obviously, we're now in 2020. Times have changed. And as times are changing, the needs of the people are obviously changing as well. One of those big things here in the Over the Hill community is really financial needs. How is the church really assisting persons in this community to make ends meet?
Well, what we do, we have a huge social outreach program. And now we are increasing fourfold our budget for social outreach, and so we are really doing our bit to assist with those who are in need. And not only that, we are now in partnership with the government of the Bahamas, with the Over the Hill initiative, and many new ministries will be happening here at St. Agnes and the facilities of St. Agnes. We own almost the entire block now. And so at our very eastern end with our schoolroom building, that will be used entirely for the Over the Hill programs with our government. Yes.
So, of course, some great news there. Looking forward to a great year of celebration leading up to July 12th. And, of course, seeing that you guys own the block, you'll be probably having a block party.
Absolutely. After the service on Sunday afternoon, we've asked for permission from the Commissioner of the Police to close the streets here adjoining St. Agnes, and we do hope to invite all the community of Grantstown and Bainstown to come and celebrate with us, and then after the celebrations to have a table fellowship with us. Everybody is invited, and we are prepared for all of our people.
Great information. Thank you so much, and of course we'll continue to follow this story. LaDawn, back to you in studio.